Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a pretty interesting breakfast time last time around. Syrup is gone. Before anybody says, you're going to bring up the syrup thing again, GTG, come on, man. Delete your comment, okay? Well, allow me to read your comment, then delete your comment, okay? It's really good syrup. It's really good syrup, man. It's really good syrup. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites. Hopefully your guys' day is going well. We are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. No private streams because of trolls, and it's not sad to be an E-Beggar. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that entails, right? So Twitch has this new thing where basically a Twitch streamer can have a private stream that is sub only, meaning that's the only people who are sub to that channel can view it. You can't be a follower or just a follower, and you can't be someone who's donated money even though you're not subbed to that channel. You have to be subbed to have these it's almost like private screenings, if you will. So that's kind of how that situation plays itself out. Now, there were some positives and negatives that comes about something like this. For a lot of people, they were like, oh, it's not a good idea. You're going to close yourself off from the market overall, being Twitch, if you do stuff like that. Some people think, okay, for smaller events or for more private events or more intimate events, like if I did a Gout and Wine or a Wine and Doubt. Yes, I know. It's been a while since I've done one of those. Some people think, oh, if you're going to do an event like that, then maybe that would be a good look. Maybe that would be something a little bit more, you know, something a bit more closed door, and, you know, just for those people who are consistently supporting you. A lot of people are looking, and then another group of people were like, well, yeah, we're definitely going to do that because that'll cut the trolls out, this, that, and the third. But if they pay $5, then they're in there. And that's it. So unless you're planning on announcing an event like that and not telling them and forcing those individuals who are trolls, air quotes, to sub to you for 3, 4, 5 months at a time, where are you going to go with that? Now, there was another infamous, I should say, Twitch streamer, I can't think of what his name is right now, who was open arms to this. He was all over Twitter being like, yeah, I can't wait to do this. Everything's going to be, you know, screw all the trolls and everything, screw all the people who are always hating on me. This is what I'm going to do from now on. So if you guys want to see me, bitch, you got to pay me. Until he found out that the games that he plays, and this is a large margin of games, by the way, will not allow that to happen. Let me explain. So just a couple of games off top that I know for sure, or that I remember. League of Legends, Hearthstone, and like Overwatch, for example. There is a clause in the in their user, basically in their TOS for the game, that you cannot basically put their gameplay behind a paywall. You know what I'm saying? You can use their game to do whatever when it comes to streaming and so on and so forth, but you can't put it behind a paywall. It has to be accessible to everybody. That's what ended up screwing this guy over. So I guess he's going to move himself to the Just Chat for his exclusive type stuff or for his sub-only type streams. But for any of the games that he plays, and he plays the majority of these games, if not almost all of them, that have that stipulation, he can't do it. So that's kind of an L on Twitch's part, given that circumstance. But if you're in the Just Chat and you're not playing a game at all, and you're just talking or going over something else, maybe even like doing YouTube videos or something, you can probably do that and get away with it. So Bad Bunny, for example, she might be able to do stuff like that if she really wanted to. Now, let's talk about how that affects Phil. Phil has been presented this idea before, back when S.E.C.R.E.T was still active. And I think you had to donate to his Patreon, though, and then you would be given a link or something along those lines for like a private showing or whatever the case may be. And Fred said that if Phil was going to do that, he would just rebroadcast it and make it available to everybody. Since then, Phil has completely washed away, which is one of the few times he's washed, but has washed away the idea of any type of exclusive events that would have to be behind a paywall, because he knows everybody else is going to get into it. What Phil isn't thinking about is the fact that do it anyway. Who cares if it gets rebroadcast? You're going to get these people's money anyway, or at least the people who actually are contributing to this stream, which is probably going to be, what, 40, 50 people who might be silly enough to do it? So who cares? And if it gets rebroadcasted, it gets rebroadcasted. But at least he gets that initial amount. I'm surprised Phil didn't think about that. But see, Phil, he's looking at it from the overarching standpoint, meaning that he wants to see how many people he can draw in and hold on to them. Just dumb. It's stupid. Like, you've always thought about, you've ran your business into the ground, to be honest with you, with short-term thinking. Don't try to do that. Don't try to be clever about it now. Don't try to think downrange now. Don't try to look at the big picture now. It's not in your forte. You're not good at it, so don't do it. But we'll see what Phil's excuse is on that. Should be interesting. And then the second part of that is, it's not sad to be an E-Beggar. I don't know about you, Phil, but you are no different than the common panhandler, to say the very least. There's no pride in that. If people want to support you, that's fine. But that's not what people do. They respond to your e-begging. If I open up a Patreon tomorrow, Phil, and I put it at the end of one of my broadcasts, hey guys, I just opened up a Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Just something there if you guys want to support us here at GTG Network and Productions. Thank you so very much. End of story. Are people going to shit on it? Sure. I would assume that I'm sure some people will. But most people will probably support it. Now, I said it that one time. I don't mention it. It's in the description of the video. It'll be in the description of probably every video that follows it. I'll make sure I would make that clear. And then we move on. End of story. Now, that's one way of doing it. There are some detractors out there who have Patreons, who have done it like that. Some of them never even announced it. It's just in the description of their... it's in the description of the videos. Or people who have Streamlabs. Same concept. They may have announced it once. It's in the description for the link in the story. Or a donation to their PayPal or whatever. They may have announced it, they may have not, but it's in the description if you wanted support to it. Now, let's talk about what Phil do. Phil tells you guys every day, multiple times a day, through his pre-stream, through his playthroughs, on Twitch, or on Twitter, and it translates into the YouTube videos by proxy because of Twitch, that, hey, support me. Support me on Patreon, support me, directly donate to me, tip me, subs, bits, cheers, Teespring. That's all e-begging. Well, the shirts might not be e-begging, but his shirts are horrible. But for you to be like, hey, please give me money so I can keep doing what I'm doing, and you're not willing to do anything for yourself, is e-begging. Especially if you do it constantly, and you do. He talks about money multiple times a day. And his demeanor is, if you guys don't give me money, it all goes away. That doesn't sound like someone who's looking for help. It doesn't sound like someone who would appreciate, you know what I'm saying, a handout, if you will. It sounds like someone who is just going to retire doing it. It's someone who's not looking, yet again, for a handout, who's looking to be carried. That's what he wants. He wants to be carried from here on out. And he can sit there behind the whole caveat of, oh, I've been doing this for 11 years. All he's saying is, you guys owe me. You guys are obligated to me to do this. Look at all the sacrifices I've made for you. My time, my money. He's brought up stupid shit like his family and his friends, his happiness, like that means a goddamn thing to anybody. I've given up all these things for you. It's time for you guys to pay the piper, or pay the piggy. It's time for you guys to drop your shekels into the piggy bank and start contributing. That's all this really is. And that's what makes it e-begging. He may not want to acknowledge that, but that's what it is. Now, everybody's idea of e-begging is different and whatnot, but that's just my general thought process. If Phil told you guys once a day, hey guys, I have a Patreon, you know, if you guys feel the need to support, you can support there. If he said once, you know, you can cheer, sub, and tip, okay, fair enough. But he does that multiple times, and he does it every day. if someone watches you every day, I find it hard pressed that they're going to forget that. But that's neither here nor there. So just something to think about moving forward. But to say that there's nothing sad about being one, I mean, if you're okay with being an internet bum, then so be it, I guess. To be honest. I mean, if that's how you feel. But that's neither here, that's neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast proper. Thank you very much for showing up. Very much appreciate it. And let's not delay this any further, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet, but we're going to get on that. We're going to have pigs in the blanket, by the way, with some bacon, some sausage, and some hash browns. It's simple, you know, but I think it's so hearty, and it'll carry you guys through the day, hopefully. So yeah, that's what we're going with. So it's time to watch me work.
That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
And I have to warn everyone, warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
God damn, that was a brutal hit to take. Holy shit. And the funny thing is too, is you could tell like when he first walked into their stable, or at least into their grounds, that horse was looking at him like, dude, what you doing around here, man? You better go ahead and take yourself behind that gate again. You don't want none of this. In the moment, man, he took like 3 steps and he was like, oh, all right, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today.
You know, it hurts. It hurts me in more than one way. It does.
To be very honest with all of you.
It's first time for everything, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we are here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. No private streams because of the trolls, and it's not sad to be an E-Beggar. Oh, here we go.
Alright, Sunday was going to be basically the last major stream of Judgment as a main stream, 4+ hours, you know, depending on how it does. If people actually show up and watch and engage me and interact with me, and it ends up being a fun, cool stream, then I will continue to do Judgment as an earlier stream.
It's gross. It's for this. It's not because they love what they're doing. It's not because for the love of the game or because they're true gamers. It's for this. And this is what it's become. It's not about putting out...
Holy shit, did he wage quit that? Not rage quit, sorry, wage. He wage quitted it? God damn. See, didn't we say in an early broadcast that, didn't someone in his chat, I should say, said that it wasn't going to be a good idea to play that game because those type of games tend to be boring, or at least when Phil plays it. That's the argument I was trying to make. Phil makes those games boring, not the game itself. And now he's giving up on it. Oh boy. The wage quit is real around this motherfucker. God dog. Like, how many days did he play it? He couldn't have played it for more than a couple. Oh boy. Oh boy. And didn't he say that, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. We'll play it for 1 or 2 streams just to see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can give you guys some variety and this, that, and the third. Now he's talking about giving it up. Wow. That's e-thottery at its best, I guess.
Quality review. It's not about putting out a quality playthrough or quality stream. It's about making this.
However, the last time I did it on Wednesday, that was not the case. The stream basically slowed down to a crawl. People weren't even talking to me anymore. It basically became like the stream chat was slow. And I don't understand that because, sadly, I hate to say it, I really like the game, and I don't understand why it's not connecting or resonating with my audience, because I really am liking Judgment. The plot is very interesting to me, and the fun kind of side content that's in the game is kind of entertaining, and I'm really having a lot of fun with the game, so I'm hoping...
Here's the problem. He's saying that it's fun. He says the content is entertaining. It's entertaining to you, not to the audience at large, who are, to be honest with you, the most important factor in that. Because if the game is just entertaining to you and you're having fun with it, then play it off stream and play something else. Play that in your own time and play something else for the people that you're basically asking to allow you to have your livelihood doing basically nothing. For whatever reason, Phil has never figured that out. And he's looking at it as, I like the game. The game is fun and entertaining, so it's not the game's fault, and it's not my fault. It's you guys in the audience. It's you guys in the fan base. It's you guys in the cult that are the problem. So fix your shit. That's basically what he's saying.
That this will resonate on Sunday.
I can't wait for the money.
Everything helps, guys. Seriously, every contribution helps. However, truth of the matter is, you know, as I've been telling you guys the past couple of months, I'm in the worst situation financially I've ever been in. And right now, we are heading into the worst part of the month for me, the first 2 weeks, because this is a time when a lot of my bills are due, but I don't get paid by Twitch until the middle of the month. So I got paid by Twitch middle of June, and then finally I had a couple weeks of alleviation here, where I didn't have to constantly worry about money and stuff, which was great. But now, here it comes again, and at the beginning of the month, a ton of bills come due, and this is when it's the worst time of the month for me. Alright? So if you want to help out...
Question, where's the YouTube money at, and where's the Patreon money? Just throwing that out there. I don't even want to bring up yet. I don't even want to bring up the I don't want to bring up the money that's given to him behind the scenes that he doesn't even tell anybody about. But where is the YouTube money and where's his Patreon money going? Let's talk about that.
The best way to contribute would be to tip me. Okay, Wolf Hydra says, what do you think about Twitch introducing subscriber-only streams? Do you think you'll be using that service? Well, here's the problem with that. Alright, much like when I was over on YouTube, and I was doing Patreon stuff for the very first time 4 years ago. People expressed interest and said, Phil, if I become a patron of yours, will you do exclusive videos on YouTube that will allow us to see stuff early? Like maybe do a special game review and release it 2 days early for the patrons. Do a DSP tries it and release it 2 days early for the patrons. And then later on make it public, right? So maybe there's an incentive to be a patron. You get to see Phil's content early. Problem with that was, at that time, and this was 4 years ago, my most hated detractors, they hate my guts, alright, they hate me the most of everyone, said, well, we hate Phil so much, what we would do is one of us would pay to become a patron to get that exclusive access to that content, and we would illegally rip that content that he's putting up only for patrons and repost it all over YouTube.
Oh my god!
So that other people could see it, effectively making this perk totally worthless, because people would be able to see his content regardless, illegally everywhere. And we don't care about the fact that this breaks the law, and we don't care about the fact that, you know, this is immoral. We just want to hurt Phil, so this is what we're going to do. Okay? So
okay. Now, I'm not sure exactly what started all that, so I'm a little fuzzy on those details, because I just don't know. But if it had something to do with the whole Project 7 situation, and Phil saying that he couldn't refund people who had contributed to his Patreon, I could kind of understand why S.E.C.R.E.T would have focused in on that and then try to see how Phil would react. And if I remember correctly, Fred did, or somebody over there at S.E.C.R.E.T ended up donating like $5 maybe. It was $5 or $10, something like that. And Phil did refund it back. He refunded it right away, actually. But there's a problem though, because Phil said he couldn't refund people their stuff back, their money. It's impossible. But yet these guys got their money back. I don't know if that's all the same situation or not, but if it is, then Phil literally played himself.
Time, and they said this publicly, by the way. This wasn't like, oh, we're hiding this fact. Publicly, this was said. This is back in the days of the S.E.C.R.E.T and everything. They said they were going to do this. So I said, well, what's the point? What's the point of doing any kind of advanced early time frame stuff for patrons if they're just going to do it anyway? If they're going to just share it anyway, like that illegally, there's nothing I could do about it. All right? So I never did anything like that at all. Fast forward to this week. This week, Twitch launched private streams just for subs. Alright? And what they did is they made it that you can stream exclusively only to your subscribers, your moderators, and people who you deem VIPs.
To be honest with you, the whole program anyway for the private streams is really for the e-thoughts. Let's be honest. It's really it's chatterbait. It's a private showing for it's a gentleman's club type of environment. Let's be honest. That's really what it's for. That's really what it's going to come down to. Let's be honest.
So basically, it's private streaming. First time ever you've been able to do that. Instead of just doing a public stream, you could have it only go to certain people. All right, interesting, right? But here's the problem: we already have people who illegally restream my shit.
You know, there's a sick motherfucker on the internet called Tevin who likes to illegally restream my fucking streams and has an army of fucking trolls who are the only reason why he has any notoriety is because he copies my shit, and he eggs his trolls on to do negative shit like this, to come to my stream and to basically make fun of my girlfriend and do nasty shit. And anyone who supports that kind of fucking content is a mentally ill asshole who has no fucking conscience or morals. And the bottom line is the only reason he does it is because he knows he can get away with it because YouTube won't shut down his streams, even though what he does is completely illegal. They don't care. YouTube does not give a shit. So he runs away. He can't do it on Twitch anymore. He's banned from Twitch from doing it. So now he has to go other places where basically it's like the Wild West and they won't listen and they won't shut down stuff that's illegal or bullying or you know, that kind of stuff.
Right? On a daily basis. They make a living doing this. This is how they get
I guess big ups to Almighty Tevin and Almighty A-Gang stand up. God damn, Phil. Oh, Phil salty for no reason.
their notoriety on the internet by illegally stealing my content live, restreaming it, and doing commentary over it. It's completely 100% fucking illegal to do that without permission and without paying a licensing fee. You cannot do that, alright? However, YouTube doesn't care. YouTube does not give a shit about that. Twitch does.
And the answer is this. They're a very preferential website. Twitch TV looks for streamers who are going to constantly be begging for money. Okay? I need subs. Send me donations and subs. So you'll do a ton of subs on Twitch and Twitch makes a ton of money off your channel. Then they don't bother you anymore. Okay? But I was never like that. I was the kind of person that I would ask for subs in the pre-streams, and if I got them, I got them. If I didn't constantly interrupt my content to beg for subs.
YouTube doesn't. So on Twitch, if you try to illegally restream another streamer and do commentary without their permission, Twitch will ban you from the site.
That's not true. Sorry, that's not true. That's not true. He was able to, like I said, he didn't even get. Well, we don't know exactly what he did to get Tevin knocked off, but they call me TXT. He actually showed why. He finally found out what the reason was that he ended up getting banned, his original account, and it was because of his name. And we think that that's what ended up getting Bill Purnell knocked off too, because of their names. No restreaming, no nothing, because none of those guys were doing it at that time. So what the hell is Phil talking about? And I don't know if Tevin's received a reason yet. I'm not even sure if I know he's appealed it, but I don't know if they've actually given him a response yet. But hopefully, if that does happen, he'll let us know, because I'm anxious to hear why he got knocked off. So yeah, and restreaming, like I said, and at the time, neither one of those individuals were restreaming him. So how'd you get them bopped off?
Putting up with that shit. This is completely against our terms of service. You know, it's breaking the law. We don't allow people to break the law on our site. Therefore, get the fuck out. Okay? YouTube literally doesn't care. Alright? They just don't care at all. So if I were to do a private stream for just subs and moderators or whoever, even though I have no idea what that stream would be, I haven't even really put thought into it yet. Because the bottom line is, even if I decided to do it, alright, someone undoubtedly would subscribe to the channel just to get access to said stream, and then they would illegally restream it on YouTube. They couldn't do it here on Twitch. They would get banned. They would have to go and they would do it on YouTube. So you'd have one of my subs, no way to know who's doing it, giving access, you know, to that content to an illegal restreamer who would just stream it on YouTube. And there's no way to take it down. People have, I know people have tried. They've told me, Phil, I've tried flagging, I've tried doing that, and YouTube just doesn't care. They ignore it. I don't know if it's because YouTube is a competitor to Twitch and they don't care.
That's funny. He used that same excuse when it came down to bringing Tevin down. Oh, I didn't do anything. And well, not other people did it. Other people was like, he's gone too far, this, that, and the third. Don't worry, Phil. We're going to go and get him. We're going to get him for you. You don't have to do anything. You remember that, Phil? You remember that? That you remember that excuse? Remember that speech? I should really have Michael Jackson's Remember the Time playing in the background. Ugh, only if I thought ahead.
Stealing content from Twitch even though it's against the law. I don't know if YouTube just doesn't care in general. Maybe you can just do it in general. You do illegal shit on YouTube constantly and they just don't give a fuck. But there's basically no way for me to stop someone who is illegally restreaming me because YouTube does not care. They have no morality to them, and unless I threaten them with a lawsuit, which I'm not going to do because I don't have money to do it, they're not going to stop anyone from doing it. Alright? So, the bottom line is...
It's Tevin's fault.
Sadly, if I were to try to do a private stream, people would just go right ahead and restream it illegally, and there's no point. So, I really have no plans on doing private stream. Not to say, by the way, that I had any plans on doing it anyway. Like I said, I haven't even really given it a bit of thought. I mentioned it the other day when it became a new thing on Twitch that it existed, but I hadn't really given it any kind of thought of what I could do with it or anything. But all that's going to do is just propagate more people to do illegal actions against me. And
so why would you bring it up? Oh, you brought it up to see if you could gauge interest, right? Now, granted, he doesn't have a plan for it. Just like his retrospective streams. He doesn't have a plan for it. But he was putting it out there as a feeler to see, you know, how people was going to react to it. Or respond to it, I should say.
Over. Who's going to subscribe to the channel to see a sub-only stream when you can just go watch it illegally anyway, right? It's pretty messed up.
Well, I would assume at least 200 or 300 people. I mean, let's be honest. When Tevin is having his streams, at least on YouTube anyway, what, 12, 14, 1,500 people and counting? Lightside Bill is in the 4s. He's going to break 5 any day now. He's going to break 500 any day now. And DarkDave's is in the 2s. In the 1s, 150, 200 range. And you usually have... you usually have between 200 or 300. You know what I'm saying? So DarkDave is going to overtake you eventually. But you still have 200, almost 300 people. That sounds like a good lot to pay for it. Each one of them throws down $5, or they do like a premium sub or whatever the case may be, a tier 2 or a tier 3, and they, you know what? I'm gonna help you out, Phil. I'm gonna help you out. So, Phil, there are tiers to the subs, yeah? Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I don't know how the whole sub only streams work, so I couldn't tell you. But if they can let you, put in the stipulation that, hey, I need, you know, you need to be a tier 2 or a tier 3 sub, that might be a good incentive for you. Even if they rebroadcast, whoever the individual is, even if they rebroadcast you, who cares, because now you got Apple compensation. Just saying, a regular sub is what, $202.50? That's not enough for Phil. He's too greedy. So a tier 2 or a tier 3 sub might have more incentive. Maybe. Just something to think about, Phil. Just trying to throw you a bone, or a, I don't know, like, what do pigs eat? Slop? I'm just throwing you a slop bucket. There you go.
But that's just the truth of the matter. That is it, guys, and that's your answer. It's probably not, it's not going to happen because there's nothing I can do about it. All right?
I just got back from McDonald's. McDonald's has now accepted my job application.
Arcade USA did a 300-bit cheer. And he said something that's very sad. I honestly don't believe this. Let me get Arcade USA up on the leaderboard, first of all. Actually, if you remember correctly, he's pronounced his name Arcade USA. I apologize because I forgot about that. So here's what he says. I'm going to read it, alright? And, I'm going to read it, and let's go ahead and see what he has to say, and then I will respond. But let's hear what he says at first. He says,
"It's very sad to me. It seems as though your supporters' contributions will never be enough, that you'll likely always need our help. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to people that want to see you succeed. I loved begging."
Alright. So I have a few things to say to that. First of all, thank you for the 300-bit cheer, because you're actually the biggest cheerer of the day. Alright, first of all, every streamer relies on contributions. So essentially what you're saying, oh, you'll always rely on your viewers. You're right. Every streamer does. Everyone who's a full-time streamer will always rely on their viewers. That's their main source of income.
Not the way, no. Not in the way that you do. Don't even try to put yourself... Do not even try to lump all you guys together or try to make blanket statements like that. That's not the case. The way Phil Burnell relies on streamers, shit, there are some e-thoughts out there that don't rely on streamers the way Phil does. The way Phil relies on his subs or on his viewers is on some next level shit compared to what other people do. And like I said, I joke about e-thoughts and all this, that, and the third. I've never heard any of them come out and say, pay my mortgage or pay my taxes. I'm sure they've asked people to pay for quite a few things, but I've never heard that. Phil, his entire livelihood is based off of the viewers. Period. And when money's low, you know. Rhyming accidentally. You know. His temperament, well, first off, he's going to tell you, but his temperament and everything points right to that direction. He is dependent on people in a way that nobody should ever really be comfortable with, to be honest. As I've said earlier on in this broadcast, people supporting you through Patreon or through tips, subs, Streamlabs, or whatever is one thing. But have any of you ever heard Ralph or Gator or Sedan from the Ralph Retort ever doing that shit? No. Does anybody ever heard the Andy Worski do that? Or Medicare? Or Nick Rekieta? Or any of these individuals? Shit, Nick Rekieta started a GoFundMe for Vic Mignogna. And even he doesn't, I mean, you know, he shills it, but he doesn't even chill it to a level like this. Or, you know, begs or anything like that. He makes sure that you guys know, hey, if you can support him, great. If you can't, then just spread the word. But Phil is out and out begging. As a streamer, that's not what your job is. Your job is to entertain. And if people feel the need to contribute to you in your efforts, then they will. But that and begging are two separate things entirely. And the fact that he knows the difference, but the fact that he would try to pass it off like everybody else does it is certainly dishonest. But it's also, it's egregious in such a way that he makes people believe, oh, this isn't a rare situation with him. There are a bunch of people who have these type of problems, so I'm making the best of what I have, and that's certainly not true. At the end of the day, he's here because he was irresponsible with his YouTube money and in his past life money when he had a 9-to-5. That's what put him where he's at now. It's the sins of the past that end up coming back on him. Nobody else. And so for him to try to make people believe that other people do this too is just fucking dishonest. And if any of his viewership, if they aren't branching out and watching other people and seeing how other people conduct themselves, then they're only going to go by what they're told, which is what makes them sheep.
So essentially what you're saying here, you're absolutely correct. I don't think that's a negative thing. I've said this a million times. I believe that crowdfunding is the future, okay? That the model of being successful on YouTube is a model of the past. You know, when ad revenue was sky high on YouTube during those golden years of, say, 2011 through, like, 2014, 2015, and, you know, advertisers were paying through the nose the amount of money that they were paying for advertisements because they thought that YouTube was an effective advertisement medium, and people were making tons of money just running ads on their video.
Why are you bringing up YouTube when we're talking about Twitch? Why are we're talking about Twitch and how all Twitch streamers, apparently, according to Phil Burnell, are all e-beggars. Why is YouTube being brought up in this? You don't stream over there. You're not even a content creator over there. It's just a place where you archive your videos. Just saying. DSP News.
Yeah, that was amazing. But that was a long time ago. And the fact of the matter is that since then, things have changed. Advertisers realize that YouTube is not an effective ad medium at all. That because of algorithms that automatically divvy out ads, that number one, ads are not effectively being placed on videos that are getting them the exposure they want for their money. And number two, the fact that their ads are going on videos of things that they totally don't support, like racism, terrorism, and stuff like that. Most advertisers have quit YouTube, all right? So even though back in the day, it was very nice to say, oh, I don't rely on anything from you guys besides your viewership.
Fuck you. You're a liar.
So, you know, anything that you can give back is much appreciated. I also do have the PayPal donation on the left-hand side of my DspFhil channel. It explains how to go to PayPal and what, email address to send a donation to, darksifphil@hotmail.com.
I've gotten many donations, and as I said before, if you send me a donation of, $10, $15, $20 or more, I'll mention your name in a video because I do appreciate that. So, thanks a lot.
You know, I can't do that anymore. It's not about views anymore. It's about people actually stepping up and crowdfunding. That's the truth of the matter. And, most people now who are successful as internet content creators, that's very much become the case. If you haven't noticed, people adopting things like Patreon, people selling merchandise, etc., etc. Okay?
So just as a...
I don't know, just because, like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Patreon, I've talked about that. Selling shirts is another thing. But keep in mind, though, too, how many of those people are actually relying on that to live, though? I mean, don't be wrong, there are plenty of people who make bank off Patreon. Let me give you an example. Well, at least used to. Sargon was pulling, what, 20, 40,000 a month? I think they say Jordan Peterson was pulling like 160, 180,000 a month. Just ridiculous amounts of money. Have you heard either one of those men beg for money, though, Phil? Oh, because they get large sums of money, they don't need to. But have you ever heard them beg for it? That's not my... You wouldn't have answered my question if you had said that. And yet again, you're talking about the years of milk and honey, but as Snort Burnell has presented to you, as Agent Proper has, as many people have, you've been begging for money since the beginning. You were accepting donations from the beginning. Theoretically, Phil has always been crowdfunding in air quotes, but it's not crowdfunding anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's out and out begging. It's an extreme form of panhandling, to be honest. I wonder if that's actually a term, extreme panhandling. If it's not, it's been coined here. It's extreme panhandling. That's exactly what it is. It's not crowdfunding. It's panhandling. It's begging. It's, if you do not give me this money, I'm going to have to go away. Does that sound like crowdfunding to you? Or does that sound like begging? Dspnews?
Very objective observation of your statement. I don't think it's sad that you say that I rely on supporter contributions, because everyone does. Everyone who makes content on the internet is besides the ginormous YouTubers bringing in millions and millions of views a month.
Why are we talking about YouTube yet again? We're supposed to be talking about Twitch.
Everyone else is reliant on supporter contributions.
So I don't think that's a sad thing.
And no, I don't think they're relying on supporter contributions, Will. I think most of them were just smart with their money. It's an income, yes. They use it to pay bills, this, that, and the third, yes. They're not dependent on, if you guys don't give me X amount of money, I'm going to lose my house. I don't think any of them do that. And don't say it every day. Now, granted, I could be skewing things to kind of fit my narrative. It's very possible that's the case. But that's just my way of looking at it.
However, I understand.
Here, look at it this way. So if I open up a Patreon tomorrow, does that make me an E-Beggar? This is an honest question that I'm asking. If I open up a Patreon tomorrow, and you guys can donate whatever you want. I have one tier, $1 a month just to support the content. Does that make me an E-Beggar? And if so, what does that make Phil? If opening up a Patreon today just so people support your content, who like your content, they want to support you. If that's crowdfunding, which is what the definition is supposed to be, then what is it that then, let's say you're one of these individuals who just don't get, just whatever, and are like, hey, yeah, that's E-Begging GTG, for sure. Okay, fair enough. Then what is it that Phil does? Don't worry, I'll wait.
It seems like every month, people step up and support me, and they get me through another month, and then the next month, here we go again. I E-Bag, right? You're constantly asking your viewers and your fans for contribution. Oh, is it E-Beggar?
You're right. But essentially, Arcade USA, as I said, there's two things that I would like to happen, and I hope they do. The first is, over the course of this summer, there's a lot more games coming out than usual. I'm hoping people will start checking out my streams on the regular, and we'll get some more support. In fact, last year, this is exactly what happened.
I can't wait for the money. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I'm so just enveloped in greed and money. I need money. I need money.
The summertime was a great time for me last year. I'm hoping that's going to happen again this year. So far, the trend is a positive trend upward. It is. It's been a good trend. This June was a much better month on streams than it was in April or May, just being very honest. So things are looking good in that regard. Okay, that's number one. Number two, what I'm hoping for here is that within the next several years, I can get out of certain debts and financial obligations that are weighing me down right now. In fact, I could definitely tell you if I can survive 2 years from today, there's a few things that are gonna not be financially obligated to me anymore. A few like loans and stuff that right now are really nagging me down with payments every year, or every month, excuse me. Those are gonna go away. So that's a good thing. In addition, as I've explained, my long-term plan is that hopefully and eventually, alright, I can get out of certain financial obligations and or pay down certain financial obligations enough that I have some financial leeway. Once I do that, then what I can do is start to transition out of being a full-time streamer.
That's not completely honest either. So here, let me lay down actually what the pignosis really is, or what he's really trying to do. So as we've talked about the business loans that Phil took out on his YouTube channel, which is stupid, by the way. What Phil's trying to do, if I had to guess, just my opinion, is Phil's trying to pay down those loans, as well as trying to pay down his credit cards, but he's not, because he's only paying the minimum monthly, the bare minimum on it, because he's an idiot, you see. Phil is going to try to pay off the business loans. Once he has the business loans paid off, then he can put more money towards the condo as in Connecticut to try to pay that off. He's not giving up the condo. He's going to hold on to it until it's paid off. Then he's going to try to sell it. But he wants to own it clean and clear first. And the bank won't let him, because that's what you do. You don't fuck the bank over. The bank fucked you. Okay, so that's what the situation is on that. Now, he also said the next 2 years, he is trying to show an increase, an influx, if you will, in his finances, in his income. So it gives the bank a little bit more confidence that, okay, he can refinance his home with the idea that he'll be able to pay us back. So pay off the business loans, okay? Pay off the condo. He won't pay the condo off in 2 years, but pay off the business loans, pay down as much as he can on the condo, refinance. That's what the plan is. This whole nonsense about getting a job and so on and so forth, it won't be needed. It won't be needed. The reason why is it's not simple, but I think it's pretty straightforward. If he can pay the condo off completely, and if he can sell it, he can take that money, flip that into actually paying down his credit cards, and then putting a good chunk, hopefully if he's smart, in the bank. Then he's all out of trouble, because all of the loans will be paid off. The condo is now paid off, and it's sold clean and clear. He takes the residuals from the condo sale, pays off his credit cards, still has money in the bank, and doesn't have to worry about refinancing his home in Washington. Just my opinion, of course.
And maybe have a little bit more of a life to myself. Maybe I'll get a job offline outside of being a streamer.
McDonald's.
He won't, because all the financial obligations would have been, like I said, would have already been covered at that point. It would be a good thing to do, because he needs to get back into the job market regardless, but he won't, because he'll be smooth sailing, and more importantly, Phil Burnell will be able to do what Phil Burnell wants to do, which means you don't have to worry about anything, and he's not going to do anything more than he needs to.
And balance that with being a streamer, which I would be totally okay with. And that's kind of what I want to do in the long term. I just can't do it right now, because right now I'm solely reliant on making enough money on streams to pay my bills. And if I don't stream full time, I can't do that. If I were to quit streaming right now to get another job, I wouldn't make enough money to pay my bills, and it would be counterproductive. Okay? Just saying. So, right now, being here as long as I can every day is the right thing to do. If I can last a few years and get down these debts, and then maybe I can see to improve my position, that's a good thing. But I have to get there, and that's the thing. People tend to think, especially when it...
And more importantly, he wasn't saying this a year ago. It's funny, because that's what this is one of Wings' ideas, too. Wings has had a plan to do this, too, and go back to school and so on and so forth. I'll cover that in the Wings report, but this is similar to what Wings was trying to do also. So keep that in mind, too.
Comes to content creation, and I'll be honest, the age range of the people who watch my content, they tend to think that everything's a quick solution. Everything's an instant change, a quick solution that can fix them. That's not the case at all. For 3 months now, I've been working behind the scenes to try to get a certain thing out of here.
Looks like that might be my wife in there, but I don't care. I don't really care about her. I don't care about my ugly wife. My wife left me.
A certain obligation so that things could be slightly better. I'm still working on that. These things take...
He's not working on it. That was the house, or that was the condo in Connecticut. And the bank told him, I would assume, the bank told him out and out, we'll take you for everything if you try to screw us out on this. You only have so much time left. Pay it off. And Phil conceded because it was probably, at least at that time, the smart thing to do.
A million years to do. That's the truth. You see what I mean? Like, it's just a pain in the ass, and there's not much you can do about it. It's just something that's matter of fact. I have to. It's a thing that takes time.
So I have to basically stay where I am, work my butt off, make entertaining streams for you guys, rely on your crowdfunding support to keep stuff going in the short term, maybe a few years even, until I can maybe look to improve my financial situation, but we're not there yet. Oh my God!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa! Stay on his ass, Cole. Don't lose him.
What in the fuck was that, dude? Holy fucking titty twisting, what the?
Damage one.
Even though I understand your frustration, Arcade, you know what I mean? That every single month I have to bring up, man, it sucks. We're at the 2 weeks that are tight financially. I know, but that's just reality. That's just life. That's my life, and I have to live it that way.
And I love it. I love doing this for a living.
There's nothing I can do about it. That's the situation I'm in. Hopefully long-term things will get better, all right? So I hear you. You're absolutely right. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the viewers. Everyone wants... I wish there was a magical solution, you know? I do. I wish there was a magical solution to the problem. Maybe if I win the fucking lotto, you know? There's just, you know, how crazy can we be here? There is no magical overnight solution to this kind of stuff, you know? So, it is what it is. I'm incredibly grateful for any support that I get, and we're just going to keep pushing forward positively. That's the best you can do, right? That's the best you can do. Well, there you go. RP Blurred to the 300-bit cheers. A shout out to all the frogs. We get money. We're getting money. If you it, say ribbit. What? What is that? What? Alright, anyway. That's enough of that. That's seriously enough of that. Alright, and Cal talking completely out of their ass. He says, oh, but when contributions are low, you switch games. I've never done that ever. When have I ever, in the middle of a stream, said, well, contributions are low, let's switch games. And now you're permanently banned. Sorry, sucker. Sorry, sucker!
Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic. Unleash the beast. Toxic. Oh.
So sucks to be dollars. Forget your wedding ring again, Phil? No. No. Idiot. Anyway, thanks for the dollar tip, stupid.
He almost got me toxic.
How's he an idiot when you're the one who showed back up from your vacation that mommy and daddy paid for and didn't have your wedding ring on? I'm surprised more people don't clown him on that.
He almost got me toxic. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Filled.
Oh shit, that was pretty funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what's getting ready to happen next. So here we go. All right, cool. Trying really hard to get that working without it blasting out anybody's eardrums, because we don't want that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that concludes that particular matter. Fun stuff. I think with the private streams, there's money to still be made there. Even though, yes, it's going to get out, yes, it's going to get restreamed. Out of 300 potential people, he might get 50 or 60 people to pay. Just saying. I mean, you might as well. You know what I'm saying? You might as well. But then the other side of that argument is, well, he could just stream a normal day and he'd probably get the money that way anyway. Yeah, but you might get more attention if it's a special event. But that's neither here nor there. You see how, like, whenever he tries to do, like, a special event for a game or some shit like that, he skews that he skews those events or those polls to do what he wants. So take that as another day, I suppose. But it's funny how the fear of S.O.K. is still in his heart on that. That's what I took from that. I thought that was hilarious. And the thing about the e-begging, to be honest with you, I mean, if he wants to be a shameless pig about it, let him, to be honest. I think it's kind of, his idea of begging crowdfunding is completely off base. But, you know, whatever keeps one hoof in front of the other, I guess. And a lot of people, in their own minds, will justify things to fit the narrative. That's nothing new. For Phil, he knows he's wrong. He knows he's blatantly wrong, but he has no options. And he has no options because when everything was going well and going good, he didn't want to plan out for nothing because he thought it was going to last forever, which is stupid, to be honest. Which was just plain and which was just out and out stupid. Sorry about that. So he ended up getting what he got. You know what I'm saying? No one ever plans to fail, but certainly people do fail to plan, and that's what ended up happening to him. That's what ended up getting him at the end. So, you know, make of that what you will. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next broadcast, whenever that may happen. Hopefully soon. But yeah, thank you guys very much yet again. I very much appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions for the Snort Report. I'm your host /anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. End the broadcast. How do you confuse e-begging and crowdfunding? I'll never know.